of God is all we need. Who the sun sets free is free indeed. So God, please speak to me, reaching the next generation.
Well, hello and welcome to Reaching the Next Generation. I'm Jerome Jones, and I count it an honor and a privilege to be having this opportunity to share with you today. I'm going to talk to you in a very informal way, but I want to share with you what God is doing and what is in our hearts. And I hope that you will share this video because their very lives are dependent on what we do. And so I hope that you will share this video and I hope that you will participate in the cause. You know, oftentimes there are those that we always have among us. They are always in need, and they're often forgotten. They're often gone unnoticed and unattended. But you know, as a minister of the gospel, God has given us a mandate. He gave this commission. You know, the Lord gave the commission long ago before he ascended back to glory. He said to his disciples, "Go ye therefore into all the world." And so I want to just piggyback, I would say, off of that. And I want to show you how that is connected to helping the poor. I want to show you how just being loving and just being supportive can open the heart of an individual that don't know God. It can open that person's heart to know God. I am witnessing a real hunger and thirst after God. Let me say this to you, because what the Holy Spirit just put in my spirit that I've never said before, never thought of it before. But the fact that I have a deep passion to help the poor and to help the needy is evident that someone is hungering and thirsting after that righteousness. Because our ultimate goal is to minister the gospel, is to share the love of God with them through the gospel. So, and so God has, and he will put a burden, a passion in his servants just because somebody is praying, you know, and hungering for it. So when you know how if you sometimes may get a burden for a certain individual, it could very well be that that individual is in a situation where they need you to intercede for them. They need you to pray for them. They need you to stand in the gap for them. So I want to encourage you today. I just want to encourage you today that you know, we are, as servants of God, we're his vessels so that he can use us to make someone else's lives better. Now, I have a number of missions that this is just some of them in which we are reaching into various nations, and our goal is to minister the gospel to them. And what happens is that when you go into an area, there are a necessity to examine that environment. And so when we go into an area with the gospel, we do an assessment of the environment. And why is that important? Because many of the individuals are dealing with extreme poverty, and therefore they're not able to have the right setups like we have right here, where I could just in a space of less than 5 minutes, I can be online speaking to people on the other side of the world. Well, people that are in poverty countries, people that are in unindustrialized countries, they don't have that opportunity. And you would be surprised to know that there are over 2 billion people on the earth today that have not heard the gospel, that the gospel is not beaming into those areas. Okay, so there is an enormous evangelistic field here. And then the other thing that you would be surprised to know is that there are 1.6 billion people today that the only communication they have in electronics is a analog transistor radio, or they get their communications through UHF. And you know how long that's been. Broadcasters don't even broadcast on UHF. There's 2 of them. It's been so long that I have not been able to remember them, but they don't broadcast on them. I happened to do a research when I was going forth with global evangelism. This is 30 years ago and better. And I found that these were frequencies, that was outdated. And there are nations now, however, that's the only way they get their communications. So if we're going to get the gospel in there, short of us physically going there, then we're going to have to broadcast it on those frequencies, regardless to how outdated they are in the more modern industrialized nations. So I tell you that because I want you to see and understand and get a little glimpse of what state that a lot of these nations are in, and like any nation, there are rich people in every nation. So I don't want to suggest to you that all of the individuals in those nations are poor. As I said, like any nation, there are rich people in every nation, but the people that we are reaching into, they don't have the luxury of having the gospel. So I've got a whole list of things that we need. What we're trying to do is to set up the right equipment, get the right hardware, so that these groups in these different nations can come on board, so that we can do what we're doing right now, where we could have them in the room with us, and we can train the ministers, we can disciple the fellowship into the truth, and then they can go out into their communities and evangelize their community. Now, later on today, I'm going to be in one of those discipleship classes at 3 o'clock my time. So, and that will be a ministers from Nigeria, ministers from Liberia, and they have they're getting disciple, getting trained. Well, what they are able to do that because I had to buy a internet mobile unit for Liberia and had to buy a subscription of data for them. So now they're getting discipled, they're getting trained. I need a flat screen TV. But what I want you to see is that if we're going to preach the gospel to people that are in poverty, then we also have to be willing to address their poverty state. You know, I am ministering to people that would die if they didn't get clean water. It's not just accident or just by chance that I am focusing on clean drinking water in some of these countries. And it's because when I was there, physically there, I found that there was children that would never finish school. There were young babies that many times wouldn't get to be 5, 6 years old. I found that there were mothers and grandmothers that were dying because of the water that they were drinking. And so I started a educational program in Africa. And in starting this program, I went to the educational centers. I went and sat down and talked with professors and talked with the superintendents of schools and met with them. And the thing that shocked me, because I was going to establish a relationship with these schools so that they would help us educate boys and girls, to get them in school and get them a trade and get them a skill so that they can better themselves. And so that's what I was going there to do. And the professor said to me as I was in the conversation and sharing with them, he says, Bishop, if you want, he said, if I bring 100 students in to my school, and if I pay for their schooling, if I pay for their schooling, he says, I would be blessed if one of them finished this course. I would be blessed if one of them graduate, because the chances are that none of them will graduate. None of them will finish the course. And so that shocked me, because I couldn't see how that these kids that were so eager to learn, and they wasn't lazy. From everything that I saw, they certainly wasn't lazy. So I couldn't see how it would be that if someone paid for their tuition, that they would not finish the course. So what happened, I asked him, I said, well, why is that? Because he went on to tell me, he said, people drop out all the time. They never finish. He says, and then he pointed in his school, he had a whole section there with all of the equipment and everything set up. He says, I need somebody to be on that equipment. He said, I got everything here, but I can't get anybody to finish the course. And so I kept on to find out why. And he said, the reason is not because they don't want to learn, but they really want to learn. And it's not because they're lazy. They're not lazy. He said, but it's because they get sick and they have to be out sometimes 2 and 3 months at a time. And some of them never recover. I said, well, what do they get sick from? He said, they get sick from the water that they drank. He said, as long as they're drinking this water, they're going to get sick, and many of them going to die. Now, I went on and I began to notice that the people are drinking the water that they also, that the whole public community take baths in. They're drinking water that animals take baths in. They're drinking water that animals die in, and there's no purification. So it registered to me that if you're going to help them, you have to address the water crisis. Because as long as they're drinking that contaminated, disease infested water, your other help is being undermined, and it will never reach fruition. So that's how the Clean Water Project was birthed. And because I not only talked to that professor, but I talked to several, and they all had the same report. It's the water that is killing the people, and many of them get caught up, get a disease with typhoid fever and malaria and all kinds of other sicknesses that goes up and down the scale. And while I was actually there, I had to physically save people's lives. This is not, I have not sat down and talked about some of the miracles, supernatural things that was done when I was there in Africa. I have not, because the Lord said to me that these things is to be shared only in his timing. So it's not for me to share these things just to get a name, just to be bring attention to me. But one thing that the Lord has prompted me to share today is that there are people that I had to physically save their lives. They would be dead today were I not there. There are ladies and men and young ministers. And so I when I digest all of this, I asked God, I said, well, Lord, what is it that we are to do? And he said, well, you got to address the water. So I started a fundraising to be able to purchase clean water. And I want to say to you, if you would help us, give something for water, because without water, that is without clean water, it undercuts all the other help. Today, I am providing clean water, food, housing assistance for orphan children, education for them. I am sending aid to Alpha and Omega Child Care, which is an orphanage where a young man and his wife end up just being stuck with over 20 some children that had been rescued from drug trafficking and sex trafficking and human trafficking. They had been arrested from the streets, and the person, one of a sister from the United States here in Atlanta, Georgia, was the one that provided the support to pay for their clothing and their schooling and the rent and the light bill and water bill. And so, but one day in August of last year, she died in a car accident there in Atlanta, Georgia. And that was in August, and I didn't get in touch with these ministries until December. But I was sitting here right here at my desk, office desk here, and the Holy Spirit said to me to call this minister. And when I called them, they were in tears because the children was crying, looking because they didn't have food. They were crying because they didn't have any help and didn't have no idea what they were going to do now. And God spoke to me to come alongside them and to help them. And so I've been asking for support. I've been sending support to them, sending support to Liberia, sending support to Nigeria, sending support to Pakistan and to India. And when you give, that's what we do. One of the things that I am thankful for is that I not only have been able to just do that. I've started a business, an online business that is that in any of its success, it helps me to send monies to help these missions in various nations around the world. I am grateful for that. You know, the Lord has been good to me in that He has kept me. That's enough. He has kept me. And the mission that God has given unto us is one that makes other people's lives better. And there's no way that I could go into a poverty nation, a poverty community where people don't have food to eat and try to preach to them the gospel. You know, that it doesn't connect. You know, if that community is starving for food, then what better way to show the love of God to those individuals than to give them something to eat? So that's what I focus on. I focus on, you know, getting some rice. Rice is very expensive now, though. But I focus on getting them some rice and clean water because if they have that, they are content. They are content just to eat rice and drink water. And, you know, that's to us here in America, we would just lose our mind if that's all we had to eat, you know. But they are so happy to just get some rice and some clean water because the clean water gives them hope that they're going to be healthy, that their babies are not going to die, that their grandmothers and fathers are not going to die of some disease due to the water, that they themselves are not going to die, that their children may be able to go to school and get a trade. And, you know, speaking of that, I have a family that is graduating now. We paid their tuition, we bought their supplies, and we put them through school. And now they are graduating. That's because we send this support to them. I want you to understand that when you watch this broadcast, and I am telling you that I am supporting people, families in Nigeria, orphanage in Uganda, families in Liberia, people in India, people in Pakistan. I'm not just telling you that. I can prove that to you. I can have live videos of the people that are being helped, of the students that are in school, of the families that are getting the food support and clean water. You know, we we have brought them before you online later today at 3 o'clock, if the Lord's willing. This minister that we will have on the air is one that we saved their life when we were there. They'd have been dead and gone. So we're not just talking, but we're saying to you, help support Nigeria, Liberia, Uganda, Pakistan, India, Gambia, and other nations around the world that we are feeding with the gospel. We're giving them food and clean water, and we're asking you to join in and help us do that. I believe that everyone that God has blessed to eat every day, you can help. Doesn't matter where you are, no matter what country you're in, you can help. You know, sometimes people say, well, I don't have a whole lot. If you can sit down and eat a meal each day, then you can help. Because all you have to do is take that one day out of a month and give that to us that we can help somebody else. You know, sacrifice one day's food and take the money and give it to us so that we can help a starving family. If you'll do that, that's how you can help without having to generate any other money. That's how you can help. That's so simplistic. Because what it means that if I want to help a poor, starving family, all I got to do is not eat my food for one day out of the month and give that to that starving family. That's all it means. So God told me this. I didn't come up with this idea. The Lord said this to me 3 years ago, sitting right here. He said, tell the people that if I have blessed them to eat every day, every one of them can help. Because all they have to do is take the money that they would buy the food for that day for them to eat and buy the food for somebody else to eat. That's all. You're not having to come up with any more money. In other words, I don't have to give any more money. You know, I can just say, instead of me eating Friday, and you know, Friday this is the day. I take Friday. Every Friday is the fast day, is a day that I set aside money that I would feed myself with. And I make sure that that money goes to one of the starving, needy families. I make sure of that because I'm not going to eat it. So is it costing me any more to support that family? No. All it does is I am sacrificing one day's food that I would eat, and I'm going to let somebody else eat it. Now, I need you to examine your own heart there, because which one of us can honestly say that we're not able to sacrifice one day out of the month the food that we would eat and let one of these starving, destitute families have that food? Which one of us can honestly say that? See, because the Holy Ghost, as I sat here 3 years ago, God said to me, says, tell the people this, because a lot of times people don't know how, may not understand how simple that a situation is that where they can help. They may not understand that. They may think that, I got to have $500 or $150, $100. I got to have. No, you don't. You don't have to have that. See, God knows how to simplify things so that anyone can do it. God knows how to do that. And sometimes people are thinking that my little is not going to really make a difference, you know, but that's not true. The little boy had one little lunch, one little lunch, 2 fish and 5 barley loaves. And he took that lunch, put it into the hands of Jesus, and Jesus fed thousands, 20,000 plus with that one little boy's lunch. That's the impact that he was able to make, all because he was willing to sacrifice him not eating that lunch to make others' lives better. So don't think that your little is not going to make a big impact, because it will. To a person that's hungry and have no idea how they're going to get food. Not only are they hungry, but they've been hungry for days and have no idea how they're going to get some food. I remember sitting in this same room, and I was talking to a minister. I was sharing with the minister, and the Lord inspired me to ask them, how are you doing with food? And before anything, he just went into tears, because he went in and showed me in his hand one piece of bread. That was all that was left. And he and his sister and his father had to eat that one piece of bread. And that's all they had. And so I immediately said, well, I didn't tell him. I just got the information, and I sent him support for food. And then I communicated to him, because I had to give him the reference number. So he got the reference number, and he went and picked the money up and went straight to the store, and he bought food and got back home, and his sister started cooking the food, and they had to cook outdoors on blocks, on blocks, and they was out there cooking this food. And he started a live video and contacted me and says, this bag, showed me the bag of rice. He said, this is better than a pot of gold. And he showed me them cooking the food, and I'm thinking, Lord, they sound like they've gone to heaven. And here we are with so much, and yet we're not content. So when I talk about us giving a little, that little is like thousands of dollars to them. And so I want you to stand with us today. I'm doing this broadcast today, and I'm going to put up a little screen for those of you that are getting our broadcast, out on from our laptop. You'll see my screen. You see the banner across it, and etc. But those of you that are on the phone version of it, you may not see the banner. But I'm trying to show something here, and I don't know how to get this up on the screen. Well, let me see. Let me see if I can do it. if I can do it, I will. But I am not that savvy. I am not that savvy on it, and so no, I'm not going to do that. Whatever that is, I'm not going to do. I'm trying to pull up a flyer that I wanted to leave up on the screen. Uh, I want to encourage those of you though that are getting the broadcast to support it with your um, support the nations, the children and men and women, brothers and sisters that is in these poverty-stricken nations. Give something that will that I'll be able to continue to provide help for them. That's our desire. My Cash App is on the screen as well. You can do that today, and we're trying our best to send support out this weekend and at the latest on Monday. We're already behind, so there is an urgency for me to get the support out as soon as I can. So as soon as it comes in, we're not waiting until we get the support for all the different locations or families. But as soon as support comes in, we're sending out, because there are people that are literally without water, without food. A couple of weeks ago, we had to take care of some because they got sick and had to go to the hospital, and we had to assist them in that. Otherwise, they just lay around, with no attention, and if they die, they just die. So we know how painful it is for people to have to experience that, for loved ones to watch their loved ones dying with no hope of doing anything to help them. So as we minister the gospel, we don't want the testimony to be ascribed to Christ that he did not even attempt to address the issues that were so visible, but yet we are saying that God loves you. We're saying that, he has a wonderful plan for your life. We can't reconcile that if we don't address the immediate need that they have. So reaching the next generation is just saying, look, we want to reach the next generations with the gospel. And part of that includes addressing their immediate needs of hunger. It means addressing that. And so I'm asking for your help. I'm asking for your help. And so I'm going to, I'm still working on trying to pull up this here. And I don't know why I can't pull it up, because I did it before. So, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to keep trying it. It tells me that this one is live. And I don't know whether I should do that. If I make a mistake, guys, it's going to wipe out the whole broadcast. So I'm trying to do my best, not to make a mistake, because it will wipe the whole broadcast out. And and I don't want to do that. So guys, look, go to the Cash App and give something. Give something. If it's whatever amount. Um, I'm not interested in telling you the amount. I'm saying give something, you know, give something, whatever is laid on your heart, give that, give that, and know that there are families that you are helping, that there are orphans that you are helping, that there are ministers that you are helping. I haven't begun to mention the need for Bibles, the need to get Bibles in the native tongue of the people that and preachers that are out there on the evangelistic field. That's something we do as well. We send Bibles. We've sent them into Pakistan. We sent them into India, sent them into uh, 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 parts of Africa. And so, uh, guys, we are fully engaged in reaching the unreachable, the people that are forgotten, the people that don't make the headlines, the people where you're not going to get an offering from them, the people that can't give you nothing. Okay, those are the ones that we are targeting to reach, because at the end of the day, they're not going to be addressed by mainstream media or ministry. So what we're doing is we're saying, okay, we're going into these nations, we're into these poverty regions. They don't have electric like we have electric, so you can't imagine that environment if you're used to an environment like ours. You can't imagine people living in that environment, but it is real. It is so is when you look at it, you just get shocked. So what we want to say to you, look, you may never go to these nations. You may never get to physically step foot on the soil, but you can be there in your representation of your help. You can be one today that helps a family live another day. You can be one today that helps someone come to the Lord today. You can be one that helps another minister gets discipled into the mind of God so that they can go out and evangelize their communities. You can be one today that causes the gospel to go into a region that is caught up in darkness, that have not heard the gospel. You can be one today that is doing that kind of evangelism. So I want you to think, because most times, if I one of the reasons that we don't get the amount of support. One of the reasons that we are dealing with people that can give us nothing back. The majority of people is in something for what they can get out of it. You can't minister that way, friend. You can't minister truly that way. But that's the majority. The majority of people are in something for what they can get out of it from that thing that they're in. In other words, I'll help you if you have something to give me. I'll help you if it's going to add to something about me that make me look better, make me feel better, make me have more. I'll help, but I've got to get something out of it, you know. And so because the poor, they can't give me a piece of bread to eat. They definitely can't give me an offering. Do you know, I went to Africa and did some ministry mission work. And there was hundreds of people attending the services every night, hundreds of them. And I preached every night, ministered every night, ministered during the day, did workshops, and everybody there in Africa can tell you that I did not take one red cent from them in an offering. They didn't pay none of my bills. None of that was on display. I never did anything. I don't even know what the offering was, because we took offering every night, but I don't even know what the offering. And I bought all of this materials. I bought the lights for the crusade, the gas for the generators, the rental for all the equipment, all of those things, and I did not get reimbursed for nothing, and I did not take any of the offering. Now, that just is to say, I didn't go there for what they could give me. I didn't go there to get something from them. That if that would have been my motivation, I'd have been seriously disappointed, But this is where you have to have a heart for ministry. You have to have a heart that I'm not preaching to get money. I'm not preaching to get fame. I'm not preaching to get something from you. I am doing what God has instructed us to do from his word. And if I go places and don't get anything, as long as I've done what God said, that's all right. You see? And so a lot of times people won't help because it's not going to get the name in the lights, or it's not going to, make them get some important recognition, among people, or simply no one is going to give them any money. You can't minister that way. So reaching the next generation is not founded on that kind of foundation. It's founded on giving to others, making others' lives better. And so I'm asking you to take time today. I know some of you are watching this video and say, well, yeah, and some of you will probably say, I'm just tired of it. But nevertheless, if you were the one that was hungry, if you were the one that had your mother dying, if you were the mother that was watching your son die because he didn't have no clean water or no food, you would be cheering for this broadcast to stay on all day in hopes that somebody would see it, that somebody would hear it and give to spare your son or to spare your daughter. See? So when people have this whispers about that's just too much, it's because they're not the one in need. That's what it is. It's because they're not the one in need, and they feel now that they have the right to make such a claim, which they don't, you know. So I would just want to encourage you that that are watching, that are seeing this broadcast. I want to encourage you first to share it. Share it with others because we need your help. When I say we really need your help now, there's some things that we want to do, and I wanted to show you some of the needs that we have, and I can't for the life of me understand why I am not able to get this up. Let's see here. Are you sure you? No, I'm not sure of that. I was about to delete something, and I'm certainly don't want to delete it. And it's telling me that I got it clicked on live, but it's not live because I'm not seeing it. Uh, Add auto screening video. Let me see what that's gonna do. Now, guys, if I mess up, you just have to forgive me because um, I am not that savvy, and I've got to get better. It's not good enough for me to keep saying that. It's not. I need to get better. If I'm going to use a platform, I need to learn what it'll do and learn how to do it so that I won't have to be making excuses for uh, not getting it right. I'm not one for excuses. I don't like excuses. Okay, now it says, okay, let's look at this. I may be getting somewhere. It says slides and it says upload. Okay, let's see. I may be getting somewhere, guys. I'm just looking to bring up um, one flyer that I'm going to leave on the screen, and that way those that are coming on and seeing the broadcast will see the things that we need. Uh, and if you can give something towards what is a list of things, uh, we need a computer, we need flat screen TVs, we need data packages, which is a monthly subscription for to be able to stream, the live broadcast. We need that. And so if you can contribute something there, then that would be a tremendous help. Now I looked at this before and I saw it, but I'm not seeing it now. So I'm going to keep thumbing through this until I come across that broadcast. So just bear along with this a little bit longer, and I should be able to find it. I know that we uploaded it to a file, and now that I'm looking in that file, I don't quite see it. So we're gonna thumb through it a little bit. Again, if you want to be a blessing to help the cause here with a gift of any amount. I keep stressing, a lot of times people think that their small gifts are not making a difference. But when you are hungry for food and you got babies that are hungry, and or you're destitute because you got children that are sickly because of the water that they're drinking, your gift can give them clean drinking water. That is the first thing that we address, because again, I stress this: if we don't address the water, then we're not going to be effective in the other aspects of help that we want to help, because people are dying with drinking this disease infested water. So now let me try to do this again. I don't know why that is not coming up. It came up on the last time, and it should be coming up on this one. But it's not coming up. Let's see, reaching the next generation. That's the file that I'm looking for, a picture that we put together that will say the things that we need it to say. Let's go to home. I'm going to try to do this from another angle. Again, this is just an informal talk with you about what we're doing in the outreach of ministry to various nations. And hopefully we can get your support to help us continue to be a help to the different families, the orphanages, and the ministers that are out on the evangelistic field. I do not see that file. For some reason, guys, I am not seeing that file, and I don't know why I'm not seeing it, because I saw it before. But that doesn't do us any good now. I don't see it now, but it would have been a picture that I could leave on the screen for others to see even after I have gotten off the screen. And I don't see it in any of my files there, but I do see it on my inside of the program here. I see it, but that's not helping me get it where you can see it. So let me do this again. I'm going to try something else. Let's see, share. And we're going to try to go into, I got an idea that I know what we're going to do. Let's see, we're going to try to get this up here. It's not working there either. If I share the screen, where am I sharing? Let's see. No, we're not going to share nothing. Not on that one. Well, guys, don't look like I'm gonna have to I'll have to go back and study this so that I'll be able to get this element of it right. It should not be that difficult. It should be where we can just actually click on it and it shows up. But what it should be and what it is not always in sync. And if I try to use it as slides, let's see what it does with video. No, that's not going to do it either. Okay, well, it doesn't look like I'm going to get it in this segment. Doesn't look like I'm going to get it. Because, oh, Jones. Well, I think it is going to look like this is it right here. It's already on the screen. You can be looking for something, but if you don't be mindful, you'll be looking right over it. And I'm just going to throw it over here so that we all can see it. I don't know whether you can or not, but you ought to be able to see this. And I need to make it bigger. I'm trying to resize this a little bit that's on this screen here, but it's not resizing. There it is. There it is. That's got it there now. And now we're going to move that out of the way. And we're going to put that over there. So just to remind you of what we are doing, this is just a flyer that gives us gives you an indication with some information as to what we are doing with the help that we get, and we're asking we're asking you to help us reach these. These are actually people that we are helping right now. Whoever you see on the flyer, we're actually helping them right now. It's not like they're not just pictures that we grab from others. We're helping these right now, all with the exception of one picture here, and that's this little one here. We are beginning to help them. We're contacted them, going to send them there first. But this here picture here is in Uganda, and this minister here and his wife there, they are just loving couple that God is using them. All of these children are orphans, and these are not all of them. And when I send support, uh, he goes to the store with her, and they buy the food, and they send me they get a live video. We get on live, and he shows me the receipt where he bought the food, and he shows the food, have the food stroll all out there as well. And then he shows me the receipts where he paid the rent and paid the light bill and the water bill. Okay, because they want us to know that when we send support to them, they do exactly what we tell them to do with it. That's been their testimony. That's my testimony of them. And so that's who they are. Pastor Jeremiah. So he's a wonderful minister there that's got different ministries. And when I saw him, the first time I saw him, he and a few of the saints with him was going up into the mountains. They were going up into the mountains to preach and to minister to the people that otherwise would never get a chance to hear. See, and that's where God is given us to target people that may not get a chance to hear the gospel. And we're going into areas, guys, where it's hard. They don't have fiber optic where they can get strong internet connectivity. I have to purchase a mobile internet unit that will give them high-speed internet. And then I have to get a subscription that is $60 to $80 a month so that they could stream. Like I've been on this broadcast. They could have been on this broadcast with me had they had the right data. See, and so we're working on getting that for them. So I want you to help us. I want you to join in with us, become a partner with us, and just have, even if you just had $10, $25 a month, that would be like a miracle for a family. And it could very well keep them alive or keep members of their family from dying. So I just really don't want you to underestimate your giving. I don't want you to underestimate that. Now, I also want this here picture here is when I was in Africa feeding just a many people. But I would have to buy the food, and then I would let them cook it because they knew what their flavors were. And then I would go out as the leader with some of the other leaders, and we would serve these families, and I just, that was one of the highlights of the meeting. Now, I know you probably think, well, my God, that's not seem so exciting, but it was. I know I was the featured speaker, the conductor of the crusade, but the one of the greatest highlights was right when I got a chance to literally plate up food and to literally wait on those that was so underprivileged. And they thought that did so much for them because they had not seen someone that is a bishop. They have not seen that caliber of person that would be serving them. Usually it's the other way around. So I just thought that was just, to me, that was my blessing. And so But that's what that picture is. That's what this is. Another picture where I am serving the families and the congregation. Here's another picture where I'm serving them and ministering to different leaders there as well. And so we are, that's what we do. Now, I, this is a chance for you to help us with these things here. We need rice, we need water, we need computers, we need flat screens. We also need flat screen TVs, and we need finances. So if you can help us, then make sure that you go to our Cash App and give something. And then we also have this picture here where I did the Feeding the Hungry program. And these are people in Pakistan, India here, and Pakistan. And so we're not just here for the sake of being here. We're here because we want your help in helping others to receive the gospel of Christ, as well as food and clean water. So if you will give something today, you can go to our Cash App, and that's $YouGiv. This is going to stay up for a while, and I'm going to, I believe it's going to stay up for a while. I'm not sure, but I'm going to move. I'm going to move away for a moment, and this just be up for a while, and for those that come through and happen to see it, we want you to give something as we do this fundraiser. In about less than an hour, I'm going to be doing a teaching with a minister in Nigeria, online discipleship. We're going to bring it to you right here. And you'll get a chance to, if you want to be a partaker of that lesson, you'll be able to see it, Lord's willing, right here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get ready to close this out, because I just now stated that I'm going to be doing the class right here. So if I'm going to be doing the class right here, I got to close this out, and I got to reprogram it to do the live teaching, and I got to send the links to those that the minister that is coming on. And as well as I'm going to copy the link. And if you want to join us in the meeting, you'll be able to join us as well. It's going to be online, so you're going to see it anyway if you want to. So until the next time, I'm Bishop Jones saying, if you go with God, I know that God will surely go with you, and you do now by all means have yourself a Jesus-filled day. Bye-bye.